All right, let's get right into it. We've all seen those headlines, right? The ones that promise you can get ridiculously fit in like 5 minutes a day. It sounds too good to be true. But what if? What if there was actually some real science to back it up?
So this is the big question, isn't it? It is so easy to be skeptical. I mean, we're all taught that getting in shape means these huge, time-consuming commitments. So today, we're going to see what the actual research says. Let's put that idea to the test.
Okay, first things first. We have to talk about the biggest hurdle that pretty much all of us face. And it's probably not what you think. It's not about a lack of desire. It's something way more practical.
And there it is, straight from a scientific journal. If you have ever thought to yourself, I just don't have the time, well, you are in very good company. This is the #1 reason people give for not working out. And let's be honest, in our crazy busy lives, that feeling is completely valid.
Now, here's where it gets really serious and, frankly, a little bit scary. What does all that lack of time add up to? Well, this number, 5.3 million. That's the estimated number of deaths every single year worldwide that are directly linked to not being physically active. So yeah, the stakes for solving this time problem, they're incredibly high.
So this brings us to a huge mental shift. What if we've been looking at this all wrong? Instead of trying to magically find an extra hour in our day that just doesn't exist, what if we could make a real, noticeable impact with the few minutes we do have? This is where the science starts to get really, really interesting.
Okay, so let's look at a specific study that put this whole no-time excuse under the microscope. Researchers basically designed an experiment to find out what actually happens when people who don't exercise at all start doing just a tiny 5-minute routine every day.
So here's the setup. It's pretty simple. They took 22 adults who were healthy but didn't exercise. A really wide age range, too. And for just 4 weeks, they had them do a simple 5-minute exercise program right from the comfort of their own home. No gym, no fancy equipment, just consistency. And get this. This was the entire workout. I mean, look how simple this is. 10 reps of 4 super basic moves, using just a chair and a wall. The whole point was that pretty much anyone could do this, anywhere, which removes almost every single excuse for not getting started.
So, the big moment. After 4 weeks of this ridiculously short routine, did anything actually happen? Well, yeah, and this is where the data gets kind of mind-blowing.
Let's start with strength endurance. The participants saw a whopping 66% average increase in how many push-ups they could do. I mean, that is a massive, massive gain in real-world strength from just a few minutes a day. And it wasn't just their upper body either. Their lower body strength shot up by 13%. That means their legs were able to generate significantly more power than when they started. It's a huge improvement. But you know what? Maybe the most powerful change wasn't physical at all. People in the study reported a 20% boost in their subjective vitality, which is basically their day-to-day energy, their zest for life. Plus, their overall mental health scores jumped up by a very significant 16%.
Okay, now for a quick dose of reality, because this is super important. This study shows both the power and the limits of a 5-minute workout. So yes, muscle strength, endurance, and mental health all got way better. But things like body fat, resting heart rate, and cholesterol, those didn't really budge. So the takeaway is 5 minutes a day makes you stronger and feel better, but it's not a magic pill for everything.
So why was this tiny little habit so effective? Why did people actually stick with it and get these results? Well, a huge part of the answer has to do with where they were doing it. The reason this approach just works so well is that it gets rid of all the usual friction, right? There's no commute to the gym, it costs $0, there's no feeling of being intimidated, you can do it literally anytime. You're using movements that help you in everyday life, and you can always make it harder as you get stronger. And let's be really clear, this isn't some anti-gym argument. It's just about understanding the trade-offs. Sure, a gym has more equipment and a sense of community, but working out at home absolutely wins when it comes to convenience, cost, and privacy. At the end of the day, the best choice is simply the one you'll actually stick with.
All right, so let's bring this all home. Let's talk about the final, and honestly, the most crucial point, because the real magic of this study wasn't just about the physical changes that happened over those 4 weeks.
Just look at this. When the researchers followed up later, not a single person had completely stopped exercising. Almost 2/3 kept doing the 5-minute routine, and another third used it as a jumping-off point to try other things like yoga or going for a run. That 5-minute workout wasn't the finish line, it was the starting block. And that's the final conclusion, straight from the scientists themselves. This is the real power. A small, totally achievable daily dose of exercise builds your confidence. It proves to yourself that you can fit movement into your life. And that makes taking the next, bigger step feel completely possible.
So, we'll leave you with this. The point of all this isn't that 5 minutes is the perfect amount of exercise for everyone, forever. The point is that it is a perfect start. It proves that the barrier to getting started is so much lower than we think it is. So, what's one tiny 5-minute step you could build into your day, maybe starting right now?